Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons from BrandonSimmons.biz. This is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news, as well as a preview of the upcoming game matchups. So, this week, the Texans are going to be hosting the Denver Broncos, taking a little break from competition, if you will, and they'll be taking them on this Sunday at NRG Stadium. So I'm gonna get into all the particulars of that and how they need to do what they need to do. But first, what I want to do is kind of recap from last Sunday's game. Give a quick little take on that. So great game overall by the Texans. 28-22 win. Score doesn't indicate how actually unclose that it was. 4 touchdowns by Watson, 3 touchdown passes on his own, and caught a little touchdown pass by DeAndre Hopkins towards the end. So yeah, great game by the offense. Defense, they held it strong for 3.5 quarters. As I mentioned, it was a game that just was not it was just not as close as the final score would actually believe. One of my biggest surprise coming from that game was we were actually able to get like 3 sacks, I believe. 1.5 of those sacks coming from Jacob Martin, linebacker Jacob Martin. Another sack coming in from Bradley Roby. And so, that was one of my biggest things about just over these last couple of weeks, and especially last week, just being able to get to the quarterback and just kind of throw things off a little bit and disrupt the passing game. And so, I've been concerned about that, since Watt went down. And so it's good to see that, there's other players around that's stepping up, that's not named Watt, not named Merciless, that's actually making plays on getting to the quarterback. So that's a huge highlight for that win for me. So kudos to both Martin and Roby for stepping up and doing that. One thing I will say, and I'm not even gonna lie, and it's probably like the main, it's probably like one of the main things that a lot of Texans fans were fearing. Texans just got kind of sloppy in the fourth quarter. Just holding that big lead and just allowing Brady to kind of like slowly creep back in the game in the same place where he was down a huge lead or he was down like a huge deficit, and then he slowly crept back in the game. So shout out to the Falcons anyway. But yeah, when that onside kick went up, man, I damn near was about to have a heart attack because I did not want us to be the victim of that. So, but overall, good win by the Texans, man. Keeps them maintaining in that third spot in the AFC, game above Kansas City. So, let's just kind of maintain. Let's hope either Baltimore or New England falls in the next couple weeks, and maybe we can creep up into those one of those spots for the first round bye. Moving on, injury watch. So as I said, man, I haven't really got a chance to check out today's injury report. I really kind of had to kind of get this this episode pumped out a little bit or recorded a little bit. But yeah, it looks like right now, yesterday or Thursday, all the players that went through like a limited practice, Jordan Akins, Garyon Conley, Will Fuller, just a few of the key guys that were just limited in practice. So hopefully that means that they'll be good to go, and even if they miss out on this week, they'll be at least a little bit rested up for when we need them in the playoffs, because it will be hands on deck no matter who we play in the postseason. So that's just a quick update for that. So let's go ahead to the Broncos. And ironically, there was a couple of things that came up this weekend where I kind of had to push this episode kind of early as far as like just getting it recorded and everything. So ironically, it came on the weekend of the Denver Broncos, and really for the Broncos, they're sitting at 4-8. Nothing's going right for their season. Flacco, he started the season for him. He went down on IR. They had Brandon Allen come in to step in for a few games. He's hurt, benched, or whatever. So right now they're rolling with their rookie quarterback, Drew Lock, I believe is second round pick or whatever. And so they put him in believe the game against the Chargers, or it might have been a game before that. But they did win last week against the San Diego, against the Los Angeles Chargers. So they're kind of confident on that. They're kind of riding high on that as something to like kind of pinpoint, put a sticker on for their season. But at the same time, it's just been a pretty bad football team overall. Right now, as it stands, Von Miller could be out for this game. So, without him on that defensive side of the football, things could be looking up a lot for our offense. I was gonna say, I think they still have like Bradley Wolf or whatever. So you still got to deal with that. But with this game particularly, I was going through the notes, and one of the things that kind of caught my attention was that this was pretty much like the Texans' first trap game of the season, meaning that they're kind of getting a team that they think is just really, really trash, and for the most part, Broncos might be having a really trash season, and so that's fair to say. But at the same time, we still got games to play. So these guys, they're sitting at their record that they're sitting in, and they're probably looking to like put a bright spot on their season. They're sitting at 4-8 right now. So finishing 8-8. Even though they might not have it, even though their chances of making the playoffs is pretty much shot, if they can finish 8-8, maybe 7-9 or something, that'll be something that they can say like, hey, we started off pretty bad and we fought to the end, and this is where we are. So, with that being said, the Texans, you don't want to end up on the wrong side of that. You don't want to, be the highlight of like, oh yeah, we beat this playoff team or whatever, and so blah blah blah, yeah. You get the point. So for the Texans to avoid that, here's 3 things that they just need to do. So number 1, the defense, they have to play big this game. So I know they stepped up to the challenge with the Patriots. They got the sacks. They held those receivers in check. Great job. Overall, great job. This is the game that, they really just really got to flex their muscle a little bit on this one. I know the defense has been like kind of up and down all season. Hasn't been like the greatest defensive performances. It just shows up whenever. But I would say in a game like this, against this type of team, they have to do something. There's a rookie quarterback starting. He's making his second start, actually. The offense overall has just been struggling. They have Philip Lindsay, one of their star running back for them. But they pretty much use they try to do a running back by committee type of thing as well. But Lindsay is the main star, tough runner also. They got Cortland Sutton. I hope I'm saying the name right. And that's after they traded away Emmanuel Sanders to the San Francisco 49ers. So all in all, they just they don't have a lot of weapons to really just kind of carry them over offensively. So they'll have to the defense, Texans defense is just they're just gonna have to play big. They'll have to bully these guys a little bit, and make this a game that they kind of hang their heads high and just be like, we did this performance, during this part of the season. So definitely we can do it again, later down the line, particularly the playoffs. Number 2, keep the focus on this game. So one of the more surprising teams that have kind of been popping up a little bit is one of the more surprising teams has been the Tennessee Titans. They've been kind of showing out these last couple weeks or whatever, and so ever since Tannehill came in and replaced Mariota, quarterback for the Titans, I believe he's been 5-1. I didn't even really check, but they've been pretty decent. So I don't know if it's 6-1 or 5-1, but they've been kind of on fire, and they've kind of, taking a focus. They've kind of stolen the spotlight a little bit from the Indianapolis Colts, I would say, as far as like being the team that's, competing with the Texans for the division lead. So yeah, 7-5. They're definitely looking to like kind of guess. They're definitely looking forward to matching up with us in these next few weeks. The Texans play them twice before the season even finishes. So the best thing for the Texans to do is just keep their focus on this particular game and worry about the Titans next week. It's easy to get distracted by the Denver Broncos, considering they're the Denver Broncos. They're not going to the playoffs. They hold no real value. If you beat them, they hold no real value. Well, actually, they hold a lot of value if you lose to them, because right now the AFC South race is still pretty tight, and we're also tied with the Kansas City Chiefs for the third and third and fourth spot. We own the tiebreaker with the Chiefs, but we still are tied with tied with them. So if we lose and they win, of course they'll jump right above us, and also that'll put us in a game with the Buffalo Bills, who's been playing lights out this whole season. But what I will say is, with the Broncos, it's easy to just kind of get sucked in and be like, there's not a lot on this team. We'll just, cool it off a little bit and just, kind of just focus on the Titans this week and, focus on the Broncos next week. No, put all your focus on the Broncos this week, because you do have a lot to lose going into the game against Tennessee next week. So you want to make sure that, you get this W this week so you can have something to kind of protect when you face the Titans next week. And number 3, win the red zone battle. So yeah, I haven't really paid attention to the red zone stats up until this week. I kind of glanced at them like here and there, and I'm like, oh, Texas should be all right. Yeah, they're not all right. They have the worst. Texans have the worst red zone defense apparently, and I think but like I said, I think I've done a red zone analysis like last year, and the one I was looking at, it was really just going off of touchdowns or whatever. So I would say the Texans just got to make sure they don't really give up any type of touchdowns in the red zone. Broncos, they're first in red zone defense. That's one of the things that they can hang their hats on for that. However, they're 27th in the red zone offense. So I definitely think that the Texans have a chance to kind of boost their number up for the red zone defense, boost their percentage up for the red zone defense, and kind of, shave it off a little bit, and keep that, make it a little bit more respectable. As far as just facing the Broncos offense in the red zone. As far as like facing their defense, I think we have all the weapons to actually like just kind of punch that in. We get really creative, as you can see, last week with the sweep pass to from Hopkins to Watson in the red zone. So, and with Hyde and Johnson, ready to like just really carry the ball and just punch it in when needed. I think we can come up with a lot of points in the red zone, even especially on a goal-to-go situation. So definitely that's a battle that they will have to win in this game. So going over the 3 things, defense just has to play big, keep the focus on this particular game, and also win the battle in the red zone. Texans do those 3 things, they're going to get the W. So with that being said, that's all I have for this week. I'm Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. Holla black.